everybody. Yes, it's real life. I'm in a grubby t-shirt, but I do have makeup on. You can see the eyeliner. Yes. Hair's not done, but so here's the real life. Great news. Mother is out of the hospital completely, out of the rehab nursing home, and at home. So we're just adjusting to that now. So hey, Jill, how you doing? Hi, Aunt Gail. We're just talking about how real life is. I'm in my big baggy sweatshirt and my, sports bra and no hair and a little bit of makeup. So because of all the stuff that's happened with my mother, and she's doing well and she's home and trying to deal with Walker and the little apartment and the cat and everything, what we're going to do today is real quick, real easy, but because of that stuff with Mom, Jay and I are making a meal for a friend of mine who's doing me a great big favor and going in to cut Mom's hair on Monday in her apartment. So I am ecstatic to have that done. So we're gonna, besides paying her to cut Mom's hair, she's my stylist. Yeah, don't take my hair as her quality. This is on me. But since she's going to do that for me, Jay and I want to make her a meal too. So what I've started to do is I've already prepped. You guys remember that keto shrimp cream with the spinach and stuff? So I'm going to make that ahead of time for them, except I'm not going to finish the shrimp, and I'll write little instructions, and I'll have the sauce ready, and all she'll have to do is put the shrimp in, throw the Parmesan in and the spinach, and that's their meal. But I'm going to make them a dessert, and that's what we're going to talk about. Is when you're crazy busy but you want to do something for somebody, what can you do to make them a dessert or something a little nicer than buying them a box of cookies, or cookies off the shelf or something like that, or even cookies from the bakery. You want to do something for them but you're tight on time. Here's a couple tricks, okay? This is what we're doing today. We're going to make them a berry cake with whipped strawberry cream cheese frosting, okay? And we're going to use pre-packaged things. Are you ready for this? So, I love Aldi's. You guys know I love Aldi's. I think they're just great. So, I have a box cake mix. On the back of the cake box, we're going to make it just like it says. It's got 1 cup of water, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, and 3 eggs. But what we're going to do is we're going to change it up a little bit. And when you want to do something interesting with cakes, where it says 1 cup of water, don't do a cup of water. Do a cup of sparkling water with flavor in it. Do a little bit of seltzer water. Do 7-Up. Do Coke. Do Pepsi. Do root beer, and try to marry up those kind of flavors. Since I've got pre-made, again, love all these pre-made cream cheese frosting, I'm going to take this can of frosting and I'm going to whip it in the KitchenAid, and I have freeze-dried strawberries, and I'm going to blend these up and squish them up, and I'm going to add that to my frosting. So what it'll do is the frosting will be more like almost a whipped creamy type of texture, and it won't be overly sweet because we're going to pump air into it, and we're going to add those freeze-dried strawberries. So those are cheats. That's what we're going to do. And what I'm going to do is I have a yellow cake. And in this cake mix, we're just going to dump and go. Sometimes the reality of life is you don't always have an extra 45 minutes to do stuff, but yet you want to make something special. And you know what? That's just the way I'm going to roll with it. Alright, so this is a yellow cake. It's normally better, to use a white cake depending on what you're going to add to it. But yellow cake works great, because what we're going to do, instead of 1 cup of water, we're going to add 1 cup of blackberry flavored sparkling water. Sparkling waters or seltzer waters or sodas, I love doing cakes with 7-Up and the lemon lime thing. that seltzer water, the bubbles and stuff, really, it makes the cake much lighter. The texture is incredibly soft. And we're just going to add it. Recipe calls, black calls, 1 cup of water. We use 1 cup of sparkling, just old Costco brand blackberry. And this has got 0 calories in it. So you're not adding any sugar, because there's enough sugar obviously in a cake mix or a box mix, as you know. Now, of course, you could get a sugar-free box mix. You could get a gluten-free. You can, I think there are gluten-free that are sugar-free out on the market too for box mixes. It calls for 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. I'm going to add 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. You can use coconut oil, but that's going to make your cake fall apart, like when you go to take it out of the pan or anything. But you can. Butter makes an incredible cake like this if you substitute 1/3 cup of butter. But I'm just using the recipe. And it's just an all-in-one. I'm going to put it in and mix it. And then I have been waffling between, I'm going to make 2 special little cakes for the people that are doing this for me. And then I don't know if I'm going to make just another cake pan or if I'm going to do muffins. I don't know. Life is life. So you just sometimes don't know what you're going to do. So here we go. I'm going to turn this on and just beat it. Just by the directions on the box. I got the oven preheating to 350. Of course, this will make a nice mess and it'll go all over the house. We're going to have to clean that. But that's okay because it is what it is. Now this is looking a little runny to me. But I did everything according to the directions. I guess I just really have to whip it. But we're going to scrape it down just to make sure we got nothing holding up on the bottom. Maybe I should have used a wire whisk instead of the paddle. I'm sure it's probably the addition of the sparkling water for some reason. The bubbles got it too excited or something. Alright. We're just going to let it go on high for a couple minutes. No, I don't. I wish I did, Aunt Gail. I looked for that, but it was like $100 more. So I didn't get it. I just went with a plain old one. I get a little apprehensive sometimes because you don't know, is that really going to get that close to the bowl? See, it's making a mess. I could do that and hope it, because this actually came with the bowl cover, which was interesting. It's really running. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that down, and I happen to have, because I greased and floured the pans to get ready for this, so I think I'm going to take a little bit of flour. Yeah, maybe a Christmas fairy could find one. And I'm just going to add, it's about a tablespoon of just all-purpose flour. I'm just going to add that in there because it seems so loose to me, and just to kind of tighten that batter up to more like a cake batter because it's really loose right now. And that's how you improvise in the kitchen. Woo! It's still pretty loose, but it's better. So as you can see, it's really runny. But we're going to go with it and see what happens. You know, worst case scenario, I have up in my freezer macaroons. I bought them. They're not handmade, so if the cake doesn't do well, I'll just do that. My friends won't care. one thing with this new thing is it does not like to come loose very well. All right, so as you can see, see how that one tablespoon did help it, but it's still really runny. But that's okay. We're going to go with it and see what happens. Sometimes when if you substitute butter and you use it at room temperature, it makes it a thicker batter, which is perfect. Yeah, I do think the carbonation does that, but it also really makes a really great cake. So we're just going to fill these little pans halfway up. Now I've sprayed those with non-stick spray and floured them, just like your grandmother and your great-grandmother used to do out on the farm. It is a great trick, I'll tell you. So many people these days don't know that trick. Am I going to make a cake or cupcakes? I'm going with cupcakes. Just because they freeze easier. And of course I can't get it to fit on my cookie sheet. So now we'll just do this. And I always have trouble with cupcakes doming up on me and not being kind of flat. I typically overfill everything. Just ask my sister. My sister-in-law Jill will tell you too. I tend to do what's called potato everything. When I'm like putting away leftovers, I'm going to take the smallest container and I'm going to use the most leftovers and I'm going to make that sucker fit. And I do. And my sister dubbed that D as potatoing the meatloaf or potatoing the chicken. I did potatoes the other day, which was really cool. Of course, I took a picture and sent it to my sister because I figured she'd think it was funny. And she did. So we're taking this very loose batter and we're just going to throw it in the 350 oven and it'll come out fine. It'll be nice and light, even with that extra tablespoon of flour in there. But of course now I have more dishes because I didn't use the cake pan. That I floured and greased just in case I was going to. My grandmother would be proud of me. Make as many dirty dishes as you possibly can. That was her philosophy. And she did a great job doing it and training me how to do it. And that cup is, there we go. I can make a kitchen messier without thinking about it. And some people can when they think about it. All right. So we're going to put those in, and obviously I'm not going to put that in, and I'm not going to touch that because I will burn myself like I did last week. Ta-da! So that's it. Hey, Missy, how you doing? Oh, yeah. Yes, it was actually, no, that part, and flour. No, just a little bit of flour. Okay, so what we did, Missy, is I've had a crazy week again, of course, but what we're doing is I'm just throwing together a little meal for, yeah, the best, yes, our Messies, yes, that is true. Yay, me! So I'm throwing together a little meal, and what I'm doing is the dessert, and I just have not had much time, so what we're doing is we're taking a cake mix, we're making that, but I added, instead of the water, I added carbonated water, flavored carbonated water. So the cake is going to have this light berry flavor and a fluffy texture because of that carbonated water. And I'm going to take regular can of cream cheese frosting and I'm going to whip that with some free-dry strawberry that I pulverize. And I'm just going to call it a summer cake. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what that was. You can do that kind of thing with any kind of mix. You can take a cake mix, any flavor, and add Coke or any of that stuff. You can, it would probably be best, like Aunt Gail had said too, is if we, instead of 1 cup of water on the mix, go ahead and like do a scant cup of water. That will help. Or instead of using the oil, use semi-solid type of fat, like either like a room temperature butter. If you do want to do a savory one, you could use rendered lard, obviously. You could use ghee, which again, when ghee is cooked, it comes out different because it doesn't have those milk solids that butter has. So it will give you a different texture as well. Coconut oil, again, will make it crumbly and light, but when you go to take it out, the cake may fall apart. So that is a great way to do you'll wow people going, oh, I've never had a cake flavored like this if you use 7-Up or, seltzer water or something of that nature. They'll think that you spent hours making a cake. So use that little trick. It's very fun. I've got the berry flavored cake in the oven, and you know what? That's about it. Hey, Tammy! Tammy and I kind of grew up together, so she would absolutely know the trick of using the 7-Up or the lemon lime soda or Sprite or whatever you got to put into a cake mix. It is very, very fun. I think what I'm going to do, though, is because that's got to bake. I don't have my strawberry stuff made into powder yet. What I'm doing, Tammy, is I'm taking freeze-dried strawberries and I'm going to put them in like a coffee grinder, grind them up, and then I'm going to whip them into a can of already done cream cheese frosting to make a light, fluffy, not as sweet frosting for a meal I'm putting together for a friend. Obviously, because I, as you can tell in my illustrious outfit, have not had a whole lot of time to do much of anything else. But I am pulling together that meal for our friend who's doing me a huge favor. So other than that, it was great that you guys stepped in. I'm sorry I'm like cutting it short. We've only been together 15 minutes. But watching the cake bake is really not that exciting. And seeing me in my sloppy Snoopy t-shirt is probably not thrilling y'all to the height that it probably, a fancy thing. And I don't even have earrings in for you guys. But I do have mascara on. So I'm like I'm 1/4 put together. How's that? So with that, I think what we'll do is, it is really fun. Have you never done that, Tammy? What's the meal, Aunt Gal? I'm making that. Do you remember when I did the keto shrimp with the cream cheese and the whole milk and the garlic and the shrimp? So I'm doing that. I'm doing the shrimp. What I'm going to do is cook the shrimp, and then I'm going to halfway. I'm only going to cook the shrimp halfway, and I'm going to set them aside in their own container. And then I'm going to make the sauce, except for the Parmesan cheese, and then I'm going to set that in a container. And then all my friend's going to have to do, and I'm going to write up the instructions, she's going to have to bring the sauce up to a boil, throw the shrimp back in, throw the Parmesan cheese in, and then once it kind of melts, fold in the shrimp, or fold in the spinach, and she'll be set. And then this cake will be their dessert. So that's what I'm doing. And I think I'm going to make sourdough bread yet today, maybe. I got this cheap recipe with the sourdough bread where you can make normal bread, from yeast and all that other stuff, but you mix in plain yogurt. So, you haven't doctored it up. You should try it. It is really, really fun because you can take 1 can of just regular, don't do the whipped frosting, but a regular can of just plain old like cream cheese frosting. You put that in like a KitchenAid or a stand mixer and whip that with your paddle on there. It will almost double the frosting. And of course, obviously, it will go farther, so it won't be as sweet either. But yeah, you can throw in freeze-dried anything into that, or nuts, or a little, ground up, chopped up nuts into that. But when you whip canned frosting, it will almost double in volume, and it really is. It's really great because it really stretches it that much further. And that way too, you can look like you're eating like that much frosting and it's not any sweeter and it's actually better. So, hey Pang, how you doing? I hope Dan's doing well. I don't have any bacon. I did do bacon stuff earlier at home. Everybody, this is Pang. She's a friend of mine that lives pretty close here. Her husband and I used to work together many moons ago, probably like 20 years ago. I can't believe that already. It's amazing. But his favorite food is bacon. And bacon anything. Bacon doesn't matter. So they're a fun group. Anyway, Pang, I was just doing a cheat cake for a friend who's doing me a favor. So all I did was a cake mix, but I added flavored bubbly water in instead of plain water. So that was really fun. So, all right. Oh, he's mowing the lawn. Work that man, work that man. That's good for him. That keeps him busy. So he's not running through crazy things in his mind. He's an overthinker, I believe. So, but they're very sweet people. Peng is one of those people that I want to have when all this craziness in the world is done over, so she can teach us how to make some really fun. She makes these hot and spicy type different oriental dishes or Hmong dishes or whatever it is. They're just, she's very talented, and I think she's one of those people that everybody would get a big kick out of learning how to do a dish like that, because some of us have never really worked with a lot of the flavorings like that. So, well, you guys, I love you. Thank you for understanding my lack of professional looking attire and my fabulous hairdo. So I will see you guys soon, and I'll be messaging you. I'll take a picture of this cake, and you guys can see how fluffy it comes out. So, oh, yeah, that'd be interesting, Dan, listening to his podcast. At least he's mowing the lawn. That's the important part. So, awesome. Well, you guys, I love you. I'm putting I store my flour in the freezer because sometimes I don't go through it fast enough. Obviously, because I try not to do a lot of flour because of the gluten, but so I actually freeze my flour. So anyway, have a beautiful day. I love you guys. Bye.